All right. The return of the Charlos. Jermell Charlo and Jermell Charlo seen in training together. And Jermell let out a little bit of a shot, which I think should be directed at Terence Crawford, when he says he's back and he's coming to 154 pounds. Also in this video, I want to talk about the incredible difference of treatment that Jermell Charlo received when he was fighting Canelo Alvarez versus all the talk with Canelo Alvarez fighting Terence Crawford. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division because Jermell Charlo is back. And I am extremely happy because Jermell Charlo is one of my favorite fighters in the world. Jermell Charlo, in my book, is the king of 154 pounds. I do not care what belt Terence Crawford had. I do not care what belts Sebastian Fundora has. Do not care who has the other trinket that is hanging out there. Who's the WBA? The IBF, whoever the IBF guy is. Do not care about any of that. The guy that was the undisputed champion in that division, who went up for one fight and came back down, is Jermell Charlo, and everybody got to go through Jermell Charlo. And I just want to say something, man, because I think Jermell and Jermall have been treated incredibly unfairly over the last several years. Jermall, for example, who was the larger of the twin brothers, man, has gone through, had all kind of different issues he was going through in his life. Just merciless criticism from people about him. So bad. People talk so bad about Jermell Charlo. You would swear he wasn't undefeated. You would swear that he wasn't somebody that was in position to fight Canelo, and when he was going strong and everything was good and Canelo wouldn't fight him, you know? But anyway, Jermell Charlo treated terribly. Jermell Charlo treated terribly. Watch how badly Jermell Charlo was treated. Remember that Jermell Charlo was the undisputed 154-pound champion. He held the WBO, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBA all at the same time. When he announced that he was going to move up to fight Canelo Alvarez, what did the WBO immediately do? Said, if you take that fight, we are going to strip you. If you take that fight and fight Canelo Alvarez instead of fighting Tim Tszyu, we are going to strip you as soon as you get in the ring. That was the treatment that the WBO gave to Jermell Charlo. Nobody in the media was saying Jermell Charlo is seeking greatness, that he's trying to go from 154 pounds up to 168 pounds to make history by skipping over 2 weight classes to become undisputed. Nobody was saying that stuff about Jermell Charlo. They were basically just calling Canelo Alvarez a cherry pick for fighting a guy 2 weight classes down, and Terence and Jermell Charlo a duck for not fighting Tim Tszyu. That was the story around it. What is the story for Terence Crawford with corporate media? Shout out to Kamal Oz. If he does this, will he, Terence Crawford, be the greatest fighter of the 21st century if he beats Canelo? Nobody is saying, why isn't Terence Crawford defending the titles that he has? Nobody is saying the WBO was perfectly fine with Terence Crawford keeping his WBO interim belt. It was only when Terence Crawford said that he wasn't coming back to 154 did the WBO move on from that belt. Look what the WBA did to maneuver and manipulate for Terence Crawford to get a shot at the WBA belt quickly, right away. Not that that's unusual, but I'm saying that the way Terence Crawford was treated at 154, now that he's going up and not fighting any of the people at 154, because right now 154 is stacked. 154 has Tim Tszyu, it has Jermell, it has Sebastian Fundora. Errol Spence is supposed to be going to that division. I do believe Keith Thurman just fought in that division. There's a bunch of Buyacheks in that division. Magmarov is in that division. 154, like usual, is a very, very deep division. But hey, when it's Terence not fighting anybody in that division, well, he's going for legacy. He's going for the money. That's a good thing. But when Jermell, who, by the way, cleaned out 154, moves up to 168 to fight Jermell. It's just all that is a cash grab. That's all that is. The double standards that people have in boxing and boxing commentators have are always, it tickles me, because I wonder sometimes whether or not they actually even see this. Right? Whether or not they see it. Now, certain people are very consistent. Jermell, Charlo, my guy Kamal Oz, shout out to Kamal Oz. Kamal Oz called it a cherry pick when Jermell moved up to fight Canelo, said that is a cherry pick, that is a bad fight. I don't want to hear nothing about this two divisions and all that. That's nothing but a cherry pick. And Kamal Oz is being consistent because he's calling the fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford a cherry pick as well. In that instance, you have somebody that's calling it the same way. But the way that you see it in the media is so different. Now, why is that? Because one is associated with the PBC and one is not, period. That's the only difference between the two. Some people will say, no, Terence Crawford was undisputed in 2 divisions. What does that got to do with the fact that he's a champion in 154? He's a champion in 154. He just dropped his belt after one fight and went and went for a cash grab. If it's a cash grab, cool. Call it. My thing is, if it's for greatness, and that's what Terence Crawford gets, then cool. Call it greatness for Terence. That's fine. But make sure the next time somebody else does it, that may be on the PBC side, that you call that chasing greatness as well. I can go through a bunch of examples of the same situation being applied. Look at William Zepeda in his 2 fights with Tevin Farmer. Look at him. Tevin Farmer gave Zepeda everything that he could handle. He was moving up from 130 up to 135. He'd had a very, very long layoff, really, from top-level competition. And what happens when William Zepeda has 2 close fights with Tevin Farmer? Nothing. He's just a warrior. What a great fight. Gervonta Davis has a tough fight with a guy that's a champion from 130. What do you hear? Oh, this is crazy. This is horrible. He's washed up. He's this, he's that. Just pay attention. Most people that are listening to boxing, a lot of the people that listen to boxing, and talk and make comments about it, they really shift their basic fundamental principles for anybody. They put it aside depending on who the person is that they're talking about. They've got a standard for one guy and they got another standard for another guy. It's called hypocrisy and it's terrible. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.